it is helpful when we're talking about polynomials to be able to name the exact kind of polynomial that we're talking about. And in order to do this, we use the degree and we use the number of terms. So using the degree and the number of terms, we're able to come up with a very specific name for a polynomial. If a polynomial has a degree of 0, all right, then we call that a constant polynomial. It has a degree of 1, we say it is linear. It has a degree of 2, like x squared, we would call that a quadratic. A degree of 3 is called a cubic. A degree of 4 is called a quartic. And a degree of 5 is called a quintic. Okay, if you have 6 or more, you just say a polynomial of degree 6. It gets boring after that. Polynomial of degree whatever, a polynomial of degree 12, something like that. But 1 or 0 through 5 have specific names and they get used quite often. Similarly, you can classify a polynomial by its number of terms. So if it has 1 term, we call that a monomial. If it has 2 terms, we call that a binomial. And if it has 3 terms, we call that a trinomial. And then 4 or more, we don't have a special name for it. You would just say like with 4 terms. It gets less interesting, okay? But these 3 have names. So you can combine these names based on the degree and the number of terms. For example, you could say, I have a quadratic monomial, all right? And that is the name of a polynomial. For example, here are a few. Let's look at them. This one, if you have p of x equals 3, there's no x here. So we could say that this is 3 times x to the 0. If there's no x, you would say that that has a degree of 0. It has only 1 term. That 3 is just 1 term. So we would call that a constant. This box is small. A constant monomial. This is degree of 0 and then monomial because it only has 1 term. Q of x, switch colors here, Q of x has 2 terms, this 4x and this minus 7. The highest exponent is 1, so we say this has a degree of 1. It has 2 terms, so with a degree of 1, that's linear, and 2 terms means it is a binomial. So its full name is linear binomial. For r of x, the highest degree is 2. I'm sorry, the highest exponent is 2, so therefore the degree is 2. It also has 2 terms, so we would say this is a quadratic binomial. Okay, and s of x has 3 terms right here, and its highest exponent is 3. So we would say s of x has a degree of 3, and it has 3 terms. So it is cubic because it has a degree of 3, and it is a trinomial because it has 3 terms. So each one of these functions is named based on its degree and its number of terms.